Okay, I'm live with Assimilate-Haskell. The idea here is just every couple of weeks, I get into Haskell, do some stuff, learn as I go. It's been a long time since I did anything with Haskell, and I didn't do much even when I did play around with it last. So I'm flying blind here, but I'm going to start off with going through and creating a code space. I'm going to go ahead and say uh, configure or new with options. And I'm going to go ahead and pick, let's say, the 16 core machine here. And then for configuration, I'm going to start with this template, which is probably a reasonable place to start with, and kind of go from there. So we got this environment set up here. Surprisingly, it actually launched extremely quickly, which is nice. But let's say the other thing that I can do while this is loading is figure out whether I can actually do some kind of documentation for Haskell, like the official guide or something like that. So let's go through here. Here we go. Haskell language. This looks pretty good. And help to start the tutorial, documentation. Here we go. Let's look at some of the things that you can do. Real world Haskell. These are books, courses. Let's just do a tutorial, a gentle intro to Haskell. And this is probably what I want, something like this. Here's one example. What else do we got? Something a little bit more visually appealing. The Haskell Wiki. What about that? Oh, that's interesting. FP's Complete School of Haskell. Oh, starting with Haskell, learning Haskell. This looks kind of good. Like let's that looks pretty good. But I'm assuming. Write yourself learning Haskell. What's this one do? Learning Haskell for Mac. First steps. Anyway, we'll pick one of these. So we this one is a Python template, which I don't necessarily think will be great for Haskell, but we can try to see. First of all, we have to get it right. So, and in fact, am I even spelling Haskell right? It's with an E, so you got to do that first. Which I'm breaking my own rule of not using tab complete here. So I don't think Haskell is installed here. So this is probably the first burden to solve is, can I configure this to install Haskell, which would be great. I mean, I guess probably go back here and we need to find the installation. So we have features, all this stuff. Always weird though when you start a new language and you have to figure out how to install it. So it's install via native OS package manager. This is probably what I care about. Ubuntu, perfect. Official package. And then the question is going to be, essentially what do we care about? What are the things that we want to install? And it says, like, for example, I don't really know the difference between these. I think I do. These are the tools. So let's start documenting. That's probably a good place to start. So I'm going to go to the README. This is a template for HASKELL Haskell projects. And some other stuff here. And then I'm going to put in some documentation for Haskell. So I'm going to say references here, and this would be also maybe lesson 1, install, and getting started. So these are the official installers. Haskell downloads. Haskell downloads. Now the question here is which one do I use? I'm assuming it would be something like this, although we haven't tried to figure the code space. Maybe the code space here, maybe it has Haskell. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Haskell, we can just click a button and install Haskell. I'm going to like being lazy here and just do that. And so now that it says I installed Haskell, does it show up anywhere? Or it's probably going to show up in my dev container here. And look at this. So it installs it as a feature. Now, I don't know if there's any fancy things we can do to configure this dev container, but I could try. Like a lot of times what I like to do is look at the official documentation when I'm installing something. And here we go. So instead of starting from Haskell, the dev container, this no longer works. Uh-oh. Hopefully this works. Let's take a look at this. Nope. See previous discussion. Add Docker image with GHub. Well, this is a while ago. Here we go. GitHub Haskell Docker is based on this. So let's go ahead and document this stuff. So we can go to README and we can say like, well, first of all, let's check this in. So it's like git status, git add a dev container. And then we can say commit adding Haskell to dev container. There we go. So hopefully this solves a lot of problems, because now if I go to the repository, now that I've got this thing in my repo, I can go to settings and I can go to code spaces, and look, we can actually set up the pre-build. So in fact, what I'm going to do is just see outputs. I'm actually going to manually trigger it since I just made that change, just to be 100% sure that it's going to rebuild the container with basically rebuild this code space with my own config. So it looks good though. It looks like we got things cooking. And we got Haskell downloads. Looks great. And all of this looks pretty good. And now all I need to do is rebuild. So I can just say rebuild, and this will actually then install Haskell. So hopefully that's pretty quick, because it can build off of I think there's some form of caching if you've already installed a pre-built container. I'm not 100% sure how this process works, but I don't know. It could be a little bit faster potentially, since I've already got a pre-built container here. But if we look at this dev container, you can see here that what I did was I just added a new feature to it, which is this particular configuration. So we'll see in a second what actually that does. But it's going to rebuild this container based on that config. And the other thing I guess we can look at is, since I have this installed, is we could put more documentation here. So we could go to this and we could just add some notes that says, well, I'm not going to change this yet because I want to do a git pull, but I can look back again at the tutorial. We have got Learn New Haskell. These are all books. I don't know. I just want to start with a super interesting tutorial. So this one is, man, June 2000. That is ancient. The cover common tooling library. We have this one, obtaining it. Here's the installer, breaking languages, release notes. I think that's write yourself yet another Haskell tutorial, history of Haskell, a short intro. That doesn't work. Looks like the tutorials for Haskell are very, very limited here. What's this? We've got a course from University of Pennsylvania. What about that one? Oh, this looks maybe interesting. Functions. basic Haskell. Maybe let's try this. This one looks like potentially it could be okay. It looks pretty well fleshed out actually. So I'll link to this and I'll start with this particular tutorial. So it's just going to take a second to get Haskell installed here. Okay, we're getting this thing going. We can also check at the same time whether the build process for Haskell dev container is actually working, and it is queued. We see that in fact this one was running, which was adding the Haskell to the dev container. So we could probably kill this one actually because I already ran it. So this will build, the previous one will build the new change, and we could, if we wanted to, look at all the different things that it's doing. All right, and so once it's done here, we should be able to get Haskell running. All right. Looking close. Here we go. Downloading Haskell. So it's always fun to look at the logs. So it's going to download 9.2.5. I'm assuming that's one of the later versions. We could double check this while it's installing. Let's double check. So if we go to this here, is this the latest? Well, it looks very new. So that's good. That's a good sign. So it looks like it's installing the latest one. It's installing GHC. It says this may take a while. The Glasgow Haskell compiler, I think, is what GHC stands for. Not 100% sure. There we go. The GHC developers are happy to announce the availability. This has documentation as well. I think this is probably a good idea to at least follow a little bit of this. So we see that it's an interactive environment. I love it. Interactive environments. That's one of my favorite environments to play around with. So I believe it will come with this. So I'm going to add this link as documentation inside of here. So let's see what else is doing. Installing Cabal, which I do know that that's the package manager for Haskell. I've heard a lot of really good things about Cabal, and I'm curious to start out with this. So we've got the compiler. We've got something called GH cup, which I don't know what that is exactly, but we'll find out soon enough. And then obviously the Cabal. All right, let's keep on cranking here. There we go. It's download everything. Again, I think there's a lot to learn from just watching the logs. So this is one of the most important skills, I think, for people new to a programming language or new to Linux or other things, is to actually view the logs for what you're building and actually use those as a way to learn about your environment. And again, this one is unpacking and installing all this stuff. It's surprising actually what it's actually doing, because it appears, oh, here we go. It says, if you're new to Haskell, check out these steps. Look at this. I found a little secret Easter egg here. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in here. It says first steps. Look at this. I love this. So I have like a hidden documentation inside of the logs, which is amazing, right? I think this shows us why it is so cool to actually read the documentation. There we go. So the GHC 924 is now the default, which is pretty cool. Okay. Unpacking. This is now going to install the CUDA drivers for NVIDIA, which probably are not necessary. I could probably take that out. In fact, I will take that out because this is a CPU based image and this is just extra stuff we don't need. And I'll uninstall those. And it's just going to make the build take longer to build out. So again, this is why it's so important to look at the logs while you're building out your system, especially the first time you're using a language. It's important to look at these logs. And hopefully this is gonna launch very, very quickly. So again, you see these CUDA drivers, which were not necessary, that I'm gonna remove, and that will allow us to really quickly launch. There we go, unpacking lib cudnn8, which is 8.60.163-1 dot or plus CUDA 11.8. All right. Looks like it's finally ready to go here. 132 seconds. So again, not stuff that you necessarily want to be hanging around when you don't need it, right? So I can go through here and I can actually fix this really quick by tweaking that dev container package. And I'm assuming it's going to launch any second. Wow, so 69,510 files were installed. It is kind of just sitting here though. What happens? Should I refresh it? Image found. Hopefully that didn't make it worse. View logs. Yeah, so it says it's done. So I don't know what else it's got to do. The other thing I guess we could look at is the core image itself. If we go to Haskell here, is it still building? We can go to this. So canceled view runs. So yeah, it's still, this one is still building the pre-build. You can see it takes 12 minutes. So here we go. We're finally back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to change this dev container. We can remove this. We can remove this feature because it just is not necessary and it slows down the build. There we go. So that's good. I don't need to rebuild obviously for that, but I'll add it for the future dev container, and then commit, adding or removing NVIDIA. Okay, got this thing finally teed up here. Now let's get into our documentation and facts. Let's look at the README file and we'll say to getting started. But what I did see was this really cool first steps here. So I'm going to load this in. Getting started, first steps. Let's link to that. Let's read it. Let's see what it says. Steps. Okay, in this guide, we'll look at a few core tools. So first one is GHC, the Glorious Glasgow Haskell Compilation System. So let's try that out. GHC. Well, there we go. So that did work. I think it told me to do dash version. So let's put these steps here. So let's do here GHC dash version. Let's run it. Go. Version. GHC. There's a dash version. GHC. What am I doing wrong? So I already screwed something up. Let's start by opening to make sure we have it installed. Huh, weird. Yeah, it's doing something very strange, which is which GHC, and how does GHC show up? Oh, I'm spelling it. GHC. There we go. So I would say step one would be step one. Where is it? And so you would want to say which GHC, and should show this here. That. Once you've got that, then you can type in GHC dash version. There we go. That was the issue. I was misspelling it. Right, so we say step two. So we can do this. Step two, get the version. You should see this. Something similar. And then we can go to the next step, which is compile a program. So running it invokes it, create a new file called hello.s.hs. Now, keep in mind that I do have Copilot, my friend here, installed, which who knows what that'll do. So let's go ahead and say touch hello.haskell.hs, and let's see what happens. Is Copilot super smart? That doesn't know how to compile this, and we don't know yet. Let's see, is there documentation about comments? I'm assuming how to learn Haskell proper. Adding dependencies. Let's just do Haskell comments are. Oh, they're just dash. There we go. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. I'm going to say hello world, because the comments are like this. And let's see, is it smart enough? Is this activate Copilot? There we go. That's weird how Copilot was right here. But let's say like hello world program. Maybe it doesn't know Haskell. Interesting. It doesn't, but not that I need Copilot to code, but it is interesting. What happens if I do this? Write hello world in Haskell. Is it smart enough to know this? Nope. It doesn't appear to be smart enough. Hello world. Haskell. Maybe that's not a language that's been added yet, which is not a big deal. But let's go back to this. So we'll create a new hello world function right here. Now, it doesn't give me syntax highlighting, which is also annoying. I'm curious about Haskell. Does it have syntax highlighting? But look at this. So what is all this? Haskell language support. Well, that looks useful. What does this do? You want to install this? Okay. So what does this actually do? This tool here. So it says this adds language support. So features, warning, shows documentation, formatting. Now I don't know if I have to do anything other than this, and will it now understand it? Ah, there we go. Look at this. We have really cool Haskell stuff now. And I think that's all I care about. Now I am going to, again, go back to Explorer, or I'm sorry, to extensions, and I'm going to add this to my dev container because I want to make sure that it's loaded the next time I use it. There we go. So if we say get status, here, get add, dev container, get commit, adding Haskell config. Okay. Next step, what do we do here is that we can actually compile this. And so you just do ghc hello.sh. Oh, okay. Or hs. So ghc hello.hs. Let's just go ahead and run this. And we'll just say step 3, write hello world in hello.hs. And then step 4 is compile. Compile. And step 5 is run. And so we just do this. We just say hello. There you go. That was pretty easy, actually. Now, I am curious about the gitignore file here because I need to find a Haskell gitignore because I don't want to cause problems. So I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna say Docker Haskell. Aha, this is what I was looking for. Look at this. Gitignore for Haskell. There we go. No, Mercurial. Is this like a Haskell gitignore? Here we go. This is what I want. I want a Haskell gitignore file here. I'm going to say Haskell gitignore. There we go. I think I can see, well, see this actually. This and see. We'll leave that there for now. So if I say get status, what do we got? We only have no, we don't have the this hello.sh or the hello binary, we don't necessarily want that to be checked in, um, which makes things a little bit more complicated. But I'll deal with that problem later. So let's go to next here. We run this. Alternatively, we can skip it by using this command. Oh, I see. Interesting. So you can just run it. Cool. Okay. Run. And we can say step 5, step 6. You can also just run it. Let's try that out. So we'll just run this. Haskell. Cool. Not bad. And you can turn on warning flags. Oh, I like this. To emit warnings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can put this into the make file. So if we do this, we can actually run this thing. Oh, there you go. Top level binding with no type signature. So let's add this, like, warnings. Right? We can do this. And it gives us something like this. Example. Right, so this will give us example output. There you go. Looking pretty good. And then the other thing I can do is I can go to the make file, and what I can do here is I can create a step called build, and what this one would be is compile warnings. Whoa, and it's going to be something like this. Compile Haskell warnings. That. So it's going to be GHC. I'm assuming I can just do this. Basically, file Haskell with warnings. And if I just say make file Haskell warnings, that not bad. So it was able to actually do that. And if I nuke this, if I say rm hello, and I run it again, yeah, it was able to compile it with warnings. So that's kind of a cool little step, right? So I've got a compile with warnings section here. So put this into a file. There we go. Perfect. And let's just keep going. What else can we do? So we got this. I do like the interactive. Let's play around with this. Nice. So we also can do interactive Haskell. This. So let's go ahead and run this. GHCI. Perfect. Now I can just do 1 + 1. Right? I also can do this command earlier, which was the hello world. Let's even put this in our documentation with body of that. So let's just put this in there. Let's just say main like that. Now if I just do main, nice. So I've been able to make some very good progress, and so I can just put this documentation here. Say, starts the interactive mode, and this is just an example of bash. There you go. Looks good. So a lot of progress here. What else can we do? Interactive. Let's try some stuff. Puts hello world. So put string. Oh, I see. So that's just a way of just putting echoing essentially. Put string. This is interactive Haskell. Nice. I like it. I can put some more docs here that says um, let's see here. You can use this. Echo. What else can we do? You can do new names. So you do have to do type declaration. So we do this double X variable not in the scope. Double X is, what does that do? Oh, double two. Double two. I don't 100% understand what this means. We can, oh, I see. So this is just, this is a variable that you can define new names. I actually don't know what that means. I really don't. So you can write multi-line by doing this and this. Well, that's interesting. Let's try it out. Whoa, this is really cool. So you can do this. I see. And then it just lets you do like a bunch of stuff. That's cool. And so if we do this here, what's the next thing we do? Then we say map, and we do some super complicated functional programming trick. Ooh, it didn't work out well. There you go. Map 1, 2, 3. It says case list. I really don't 100% understand that code, but it was working. You can also import source files. So in this case, if we say load, it'll actually load it. Ah, that's more. I love this. That's really cool. So we can say here, load existing code, and do that. I think we have to do this, something like that. Let's do this. Look at that. And then I just, it says one module loaded. Now, it would be nice if I could tell which model was loaded, as well as import library. But we know that it's main, so we can do it. But there must be some kind of help or I don't know how you do help, but basically you can load it, then run main, which is definitely pretty cool. What else can we do as first steps here? We can import a library like this. Can also import library. Pretty cool. So let's do this. Import data bits. There we go. And now we say Shift L 32.1, and then we say clear bit 33.0. There we go. You can even ask what type of expression is used with a type. Ah, interesting. I like this. What type of expression? And we can say check expression. which is definitely useful. Type, huh, what else can we do? We can quit. There we go. We can say quit, and we can say quit. You just quit. There you go. Oh, not bad. And we can also use external packages by default. You can only load it, but you can use Cabal install. So you basically do this. You say Cabal REPL stack. So this is a good. This looks like something I should do the next time I come in. So I learned a lot. So let's go here and we'll say weeks. We'll say lesson 2 be Cabal, using Cabal. A note that says uh, like walk through this. All right, not bad. So I learned a lot today. I'm going to check in all this code, and it's reproducible. Status. Add that ignore. Got to get ignore here. I'm going to remove that hello file. Add everything else, and I'm good to go for today. Adding day 1 of Haskell. Watch it. See you in a couple weeks.